Hello everybody. I'm sorry that it was so late to be coming out to let you know how we got on today. We went in to meet the neurologist. We went in to I suppose meet the appointment that was arranged inside for us, and we don't have good news at all. The application was the neurologist is not able, they said, to move forward to help Ava progress it any further. We had a pretty long conversation with the neurologist, and I think that in fairness to the neurologist, they were kind of what they were saying was on a personal level, which you'd appreciate, they empathised with us and they were sympathetic with the fact that they couldn't actually help. The reason they said they couldn't help was like what we expected, that the legal situation surrounding the THC makes it impossible for them to prescribe, to not to even prescribe, but to oversee or continue to support the care for Ava. To say like you'd be disappointed is beyond. It's beyond that. Both of us, Paul is here with me. We both really didn't think that we had a great deal of hope in getting anything from the neurologist today, but at the same time there'd be part of you that would be really hopeful that something would happen, but it hasn't and it can't. The neurologist spoke to us about the compassionate exemption program as well, and the neurologist was saying that it really isn't a viable option at all, which is shocking, because that means that anybody who was hoping to move forward with an application isn't going to be able to do so, because the legal situation is standing in the way of any neurologist or specialist to be able to prescribe medicinal cannabis for their patients. Now, we done more work, I suppose, than just today. We were busy yesterday on this as well, and what it is was that what we've come to see over the last 48 hours is that the only way possible for patients like our daughter or anybody else is that they would be forced to leave the state to move to another country for who knows how long, and then they would have to, I suppose, finance that themselves. They would have to wonder whether, like for us, the situation would Ava even be able to take a long flight to another country? To be honest, I'm concerned putting Ava into the car going to Macroom, which is 20 minutes away by car, never mind going several hours flying on a plane. So that is not an option, and I don't think that going abroad for a long period of time is something that I could do, because being away for 9 days from my children and only seeing them twice in 9 days nearly broke my heart anyway. And I see it as just like this, that what needs to be done in this country is that legislation needs to be brought in so that people like the neurologist that we met today, who, as they said, on a personal level support the use of medicinal cannabis, would be allowed to treat patients with the medicinal cannabis. The blockage is in the Dáil and the blockage is in the HSE. The Compassionate Access Programme, as they said, is not something that is workable, and that leaves people like us with with an awful future, really. I don't know what we can do next. Only can we gather together, can we stand together to make the government and make the legislators in this country see that all of us, all the people that stood outside the Dáil on Tuesday, all the people that walked for more than the last week, are determined enough to get this for their children, for their loved ones, for their families. I'm really sorry that I don't have good news. I'm also really sorry that actually in just about 2 days, all of the options have been wiped away for us, and probably realistically for the majority of the rest of us as well. Because it's just simply, it's not going to work. We need legislation now to gain access to medicinal cannabis for our families and for the people that we care about. So I think that we're going to have to come together. We're going to have to do something as a group of people in this country to make this happen. As Gino said, to make it medicine, to make it happen, because it sure as heck isn't going to happen for people like us in the likes of, Canada or America or place like that. Not for people that have 3 and 4 children. I can't break up my family and leave half of them behind and go way over to Canada. So I don't know, perhaps we can begin again and say to Simon Harris, email our TDs, let them know that this can't be allowed to happen. And also, now we know from the horse's mouth that the Compassionate Access Programme is not going to be effective. It's not going to be effective for you or me. It's not even going to be effective for the doctors that want to help us, that feel the pain of the people that they're dealing with, but they can't fix it for us because simply the legislation isn't there. So I don't know what more to say. My heart is broken. I was not able to do this message out to you until now because it's just such bad news. I suppose I'll leave it with you. Again, can we email our TDs? Can we stand together? Can we say simon.harris@oir.ie? Make the medicine, make it happen. Change the legislation now. Gino Kenny's legislation is sitting there waiting, and it, as I see it now, is the option to move forward. And I think it's up to you and me and all of us together to put our shoulders to the wheel here and to put the pressure on the government above in Dublin and to put the pressure on the TDs to support Gino Kenny's legislation, to allow it to be legislated in this country and to allow us to have access to the medicinal cannabis like 11 other countries in Europe have. So it's 11, let's make it 12. Thanks very much, lads. Good night. Mwah.